right, happy March Madness time, as we like to say around here.
We sleep in May.
This song gives me chills.
This song does give, I think, all of us chills, really, honestly.
It's the one time I get to regress to just having not a damn thing to do and just watch basketball for
Some of
70.
us, not a damn thing to do.
What was it? 48 plus 96 straight hours?
96 hours.
Hey, quick maths. But that's what we're here for.
Yes, so happy March Madness. Thursday, March 17th. The playing games are done. We've got a jam-packed show for you today. Cade is joining us. He's back representing the D. Wearing that hat.
Live from Chirac.
From Chirac. We should have had the Chirac. We should have some Chirac music playing for you, brother. Good to see you.
You can't handle that, Rob. Come on.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, not at 10:45 in the morning when I got all these games about to happen today.
Or
But
10:45 in the morning and Rod's drinking a Coke already, dude.
Yeah, as you can
He's
see.
full send.
as you can see,
It is full send.
but Eric, how you doing?
Hey, I'm just happy to be here. Thank you guys for having me.
Yes.
College basketball is by far right up there with the NFL for me as my favorite sport. So just something about it this time of year.
NFL's still king. I don't know if you guys
NFL is still king,
king. I don't know if you guys
obviously.
heard, but Deshaun Watson's waiting for the games to get going, and then he's going to drop the bomb on where he's
100%,
going.
Yeah.
100%.
So
First buzzer beater that happens.
Yeah, instantly he's going to send out the tweet of where he's going. So
doubt.
NFL's still king, but we picked our two best college basketball guys here, a part of the Rise Network, to help us out. So we can get into it if you guys want.
If you want.
Let's do it.
I'm ready to get into it.
All right, let's start off with the West, and I'm going to let you two take these reins.
So first off, I do have to say it's very tough to separate my gambling mind from creating a bracket mind because since Feast Week in November, you know, I get a sense of all these teams, and then you grow hatreds towards some teams, and you like some teams, and you gotta keep the bias out when you
100%.
create a bracket. But then when you hear other people are so high on these other teams, like we'll get into a little bit with Iowa, how they're hot and they seem to be a hot Final Four pick, and then you're kind of like, oh, if everybody's on Iowa, then you know that can't happen. So
There's no way it happens, right?
yeah, it's definitely tough. But I mean, you, Alex Tristic, you've had some success in the past couple bracket years.
I have, but you know what my MO is picking teams that not a lot of other people have. So, you know, I'm expecting a lot of Gonzaga. I'm expecting a lot of Kansas. I'm expecting a lot of Arizona. And for me, it's picking teams that have the ability to get there, but a lot of other people aren't picking. Because if you have the Arizonas, the Gonzagas, you're just going to be in a mix with a bunch of other people, and you better have hit your early round picks. And for me, like, hitting your early round picks is a toss of a coin.
tough to
So
do.
I I'll just get into it with mine. One of my brackets that I have the Vols going all the way. Cade, Tennessee. Here we go. Yeah, you don't like that one. You don't like that one.
I'm with you, Cade. But
You guys
First round bounce
we'll
for
get
me.
into it.
first round bounce. There's no
I
way.
love that.
First
I love
round
that.
bounce.
That's,
I
my
love
biggest.
that.
That's my biggest upset.
I love that,
Longwood.
Cade.
Are you
Longwood
guys
to the moon.
fucking kidding
No,
me?
I wouldn't be surprised if it happens.
They had an
Longwood.
SEC tourney hangover.
Hey,
Longwood literally translates to hard. You know, like what are we talking?
Well,
but
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
we're
sorry.
having some technical.
Yeah, I don't know what just happened.
And I'm not gonna lie, Cade. I didn't hear a goddamn word you said.
I heard it.
What?
Oh, there he is. All right.
No. It was not me. I promise it was not. I know you guys keep seeing my face, but it was not me. I don't know what's going on with the camera.
No,
but
I just say whatever you said. It just like repeated itself 20 seconds in my ear, and I was like, okay, I think I lost him.
No, but Cade, all right, so finish going on about your west of the bracket real quick for us.
Yeah, so I don't like Gonzaga at all. Not like the basketball team itself, just like the way that they don't play in a tough conference. I know they have a good out of conference schedule, but I never picked Gonzaga to go very far. So I continue that theme. I actually have UConn beating them in the Sweet 16. That's one of my big plays there. I think RJ Cole can, get it done as well. Sonoga going up against Drew Timme because I don't think he handles big men very well. And then I have Texas Tech actually lining up with UConn.
Yep.
In this Elite Eight. I'm going a little out of box there. I had Texas Tech to start. I was pretty high on them, so I actually have them going to the Final Four.
100%. I'm right there with you, Cade.
All right. So sorry about that for those who, it's just we haven't been studying a long time. We've been traveling a lot, so it's our first time being back. But go ahead. Sorry, Eric.
Yeah, no, I do like Texas Tech out of this region too. I think their defense travels well. They can be a little streaky from three. They can also, they're not one of the best free throw shooting teams as well. But defense travels, and they have the lineup to compete with every game, every team they play. So, whether it ends up being Duke or for me, Davidson.
Unbelievable.
But let's take it game by game, just so people
please, yes,
people filling
let's do
out
this.
their brackets. Obviously, we'll move Gonzaga ahead in their first matchup with Georgia State. Memphis, Boise State. What do you think of that, Cade?
I'm just taking Memphis. I don't really know much. I haven't watched much of either team. I know Memphis had that big win against Bama early in the season that kind of sparked them on their little run they had. So I'm just taking them. I think they're a slight favorite.
Yeah, I mean, Memphis, you have Jalen Duren, top lottery pick. Outside of that, the whole Amani Bates thing, he hasn't been there for months. He's something else. But they've been better without him. I think the popular pick will be Memphis because you have the big name there.
Mm-hmm.
Boise State, I think they're one of the worst free throw shooting teams in the country, and obviously that doesn't bode well in March. But they don't really do anything good. Just a bunch of upperclassmen who play good defense but can't really do much offensively, and I think that's.
How much do you guys put into a team being hot going into March? Because Memphis is one of the hottest teams in the nation right now. So for me, I like to put that in basically how hot are you compared to Boise State? A lot hotter than Boise State. And with a coin toss like this, a little 50-50 matchup for me, and a soon-to-be lottery pick in Jalen Duren, I have to go Memphis here, but I feel like so does everybody else. So therefore, it kind of trips me out a little bit.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. You just see these patterns of, the different brackets you see on Twitter and the podcasts of everyone kind of favoring these teams, and the Virginia Techs, the Memphis. I mean, Boise State did win their conference tournament, but they didn't really have much competition other than San Diego State. The Tennessees, these teams that won their conference tournaments, have won, 3-4 games in a row, and they kind of become the hot talk, and everyone keeps them going on. I don't know. It's just one of those things. It's tough, but I see a pattern here, and Tyson Williams. They had a nice run last year in the NCAA tournament, so they've got that good experience built. They have some good wins in the SEC, most of them at home against Kentucky, Auburn. Vermont's got a couple good senior leaders that are averaging, 17, 16 points a game. Ryan Davis and Ben Shungu, if I pronounced that correctly. Vermont's one of the most efficient offenses in the country, and like I said, Arkansas can go 5-6 minutes with 2 points, 3 points, and I think it'll be a close game. I think the spread's 5 on that one. So I do have Vermont moving on, but if Arkansas comes out and wipes them by 15 points, I wouldn't be surprised.
For me, it's the athleticism difference, right? Like you can tell that Arkansas recruits top recruits in the nation, right? They're just athletically gifted, more physically gifted than the players on Vermont. Mm-hmm. And how much of that do you put into when you're looking at the teams? And for me, it's a big difference. I think Vermont's best player getting guarded by guys like J.D. Note and big boys, athletic freaks. I don't see how that fare well is for them.
Yeah, it just comes down to a consistency thing with most of these teams, which they lack, which is why I think there's going to be so many upsets. Is like I said, Arkansas, they beat Kentucky at home, and they're like, oh my God, like this team is who's going to beat them in March, and then they play Texas A&M on a neutral floor in the SEC tournament, and they're down by like 15, 16 points to a Texas A&M team who's not even in the tournament. So it's just one of those things. Any given day, I think a senior team like Vermont who plays well together. They've blown out pretty much every opponent in their conference. I think they'll put up a pretty good fight.
What do you guys think about Alabama versus Notre Dame? Obviously, we watched Notre Dame last night. They went against a really good Rutgers team. Went into double overtime. Luck of the Irish. As soon as they hit midnight, it seems like Notre Dame went on a little run there.
That was incredible.
It wasn't it? Yeah. And right when it turned midnight, the announcer was like, "And it's officially St. Patrick's Day." I should have ran to FanDuel or to DraftKings and put a live bet immediately on Notre Dame because that was Hollywood. That was story written. But I feel like a lot of people, since they got a little taste of Notre Dame and they saw that they competed with a really good team in Rutgers, that a lot of people are going to be changing their brackets and they're like, oh, I need more upsets, because everyone's always looking for upsets, right? I feel like when you fill out your bracket, you're like, first, let me find out where the lower seeds 100%. Can beat higher seeds, right? Which isn't how it's supposed to be. So I think a lot of people might be going to Notre Dame, and for that reason, I want to go with Alabama. But what do you guys think? Cade, you want to tip that one off?
Yeah, I mean, we see it almost every year with the playing game. UCLA winning their playing game. Not so much a lot of people going to Final Four, but, we see usually someone make it to the Sweet 16. I don't really see the case for it here. I don't think the ACC is very good. I don't think Notre Dame is very good. But I also don't think Bama is very good. So I think this game is going to be one of those games you hammer the under on, and then you kind of roll from there. I know Quinterly and Shackelford, they can light it up. But Bama's kind of like Arkansas, where they have multiple minutes of the game where they just don't score. They play poor defense. They seem to be, getting outcoached. But I'm still going to roll with Bama. This is like the one region where I don't have upsets. So I kind of just running chalk in the first round, but then I, mix it up a little bit. So if it was Rutgers, I like Rutgers to beat Bama, but now that Rutgers is out, I'm just going to ride with Bama.
That's funny that you say you're going chalk in this region, because we'll get to it when we get to the Midwest. But for the Midwest, for me, is my chalky division. I was struggling to find an upset in that bracket, and just so I could have one, I took Iowa State over LSU, but the rest is straight chalk for me all the way down the board. Yeah. So I obviously South Dakota State's got a good chance, but that's the only one I could think of outside of that. But we'll get to that when we get down there. But it's just interesting to me how, when it comes to perspective, somebody can have one chalky region where, to me, I have a bunch of upsets in the West, but Cade says for him it's chalky. So this is why we love March.
Yeah, I mean, back to Bama and Notre Dame, it'll be interesting to see with the double overtime. You're going to have that adrenaline for Notre Dame, but you're also going to have tired legs. You almost played another close to a half of basketball. But it's going to be, can they ride the hot hand? I mean, Bama is as inconsistent as it gets. They'll shoot 40% from three, and then the next game they lose to Vanderbilt and don't cover the spread, but whatever. So yeah, this one's really a toss-up for me. I was with Cade. If Rutgers advanced, I liked Rutgers to win that first game against Alabama as well. But I'm going to roll with Bama in this one.
Okay, I think we all have Texas Tech in this next one.
Yes.
So we can skip that one. This is the one that we've all been waiting for. Michigan State versus Davidson. Now, we all know the storybook, writing the in between the lines of this game. Former Spartan Foster lawyer, former Mr. Michigan of high school basketball, is now playing for Davidson. He's averaged more points and has hit more three-pointers just in this season than he has combined in his first 3 years at MSU. It's a big deal. Everyone thinks that Davidson's going to pull up an upset, and I don't understand how. I'm a firm believer that Davidson, despite Vegas's spread and the money line, doesn't have a goddamn chance.
What is the spread?
It's literally like -120.
Pick 'em.
They actually do have a chance. They play very, very hard. I don't know if you watched that last game against Richmond, but they played very
I did. And who's Davidson's best player?
It's Foster Lawyer.
And what did he do against Richmond?
He didn't do
7 points, 1 for 6 from 3.
I know, but like you know how this is. This is poetic type shit. It's March.
It is.
You know, it's gonna be like the thing on ESPN the next morning where
I think
everyone's
it's too
like,
oblivious, though.
no, this is like literally smack dab in our face saying, look what's about to happen. And
That's what oblivious means.
Oh yeah.
That's my point.
Well, I'm on Michigan State though. I am. 100%.
No, I feel you.
I think we all are. But it's like we can't just rule out the fact that Foster is going to do something.
That's my point. You got a big championship game against Richmond, right? Because were they a bubble team prior to the championship?
Richmond.
No, Davidson was in.
Davidson
were in,
was
right?
in prior to, yeah.
They got a big game, a big championship game against Richmond, and you expect your best player to carry the bulk of the load. I may or may not have had player props on him to have 1.5 3-pointers. Thought that was a lock. 13.5 points. How could that not be a lock in a championship game? And he finishes with 7 points and 1
But
three.
I don't think this is gonna fall on Foster. This is gonna fall on the mistakes that Michigan State's going to make.
Yeah, and we all know they turn the ball over a lot.
A lot.
Cade, we've watched this team more than sometimes we'd like to admit. And we know that their biggest problem through and through is, well, their inconsistency on offense, but most importantly, their turnovers. And this year has been worse than ever, I would say. The turnovers are through not far in between. It happens often. And guys like Walker, we need him to carry the bulk of the load.
Is he playing?
That's the thing. He's got an ankle injury. We don't know. Now, AJ Hoggard comes in, who I like Hoggard. He's put on a lot of weight during this offseason. He's looking good. He's thickums now. Hoggard, sorry.
Yeah, I hate
Great
Hoggard.
distributor of the ball. Max Christie's getting a lot of minutes. I had no problem with that. He's our best player. Rod does. But, Kate, I want you to chime in on this matchup because I know you are a Foster stan, but at the same time, your alma mater is MSU. I want to hear your eye on this.
So it's yours.
You hit.
I'm not a Foster stan, though.
Okay.
You hit the nail on the head with the turnovers. You just had to watch that Big Ten matchup in the tournament with Maryland. Maryland pressed them, and they turned the ball over 7 times, like a minute 30. So, I mean, just in the tournament alone, Michigan State goes up by a couple with the last 2 minutes. You're scared of, them having to face a press. But you broke it down perfectly. The turnovers have to stop, and it's been too far in the season where they're not going to stop. They're going to have to play through them. And then inconsistent big man play has probably been the one I've harped on the most. I like Bingham and Marble, but they've both been way too inconsistent. You only really get a decent game out of one of them. And lately it's been Bingham. Even though Marble's played well, against Wisconsin, he started off hot early, and then Bingham kind of finished it off. I think what it comes down to is I think Izzo will outcoach Davidson's coach, who now I kind of feel like an idiot because I don't know his name. But I think Izzo, with the experience, with the battle-tested Michigan State team, I do think they come out victorious. But if Davidson, who shoots around 38% from three, lights it up, I think it could get ugly quick out of the gate. So I think Michigan State will have to play that hard-nosed defense they've played, in the Big Ten tournament. And they're kind of buzzing. I didn't think the A-10 was very good this year. I thought it was lacking. I didn't think they were going to get too many bids, and Davidson is only one of their 2 bids. So I think Michigan State has played much better teams throughout the year, and I think they will come out with the victory.
So my question would be to you guys is that you guys think that Michigan State got screwed over? I guess we'll talk about it when we get to Michigan, but like in the division or in the region that they're in, and people are saying that Michigan kind of has like this cakewalk almost like to, I think they said the Sweet 16, would it be? Or
I don't understand how people can say that when they have to go against my Vols in round of 32.
Yeah, but then Michigan State has to go against Duke if they win.
Sure, which is much, much more difficult.
Yes.
I was honestly shocked that that Michigan State was a 7 seed. The thing that is so deceiving is their whole body of work is, they'll win a couple games against Purdue at home, and then they'll lose 5 of 6, and now they're kind of turning a corner. It seems like in March, but I think that's the whole thing that if Michigan State's a 7 seed, I think the Big Ten is just bad because you have these teams out I don't know. It's the thing that anyone can beat any given team, especially a road game in the Big Ten.
Right.
So what it comes down to me is just Michigan State's inconsistency. I like Davidson, as Cade mentioned, from from behind the arc, shooting 38%. I'm not sure if it's just because we're from Michigan, like this is kind of the narrative and people know Foster Loyer more than outside of Michigan.
Sure.
So we kind of see it as like this big thing. I know I've heard some podcasts where people have talked about it as well, but I think Davidson is a popular upset pick. But people are January, February Izzo, so it's like coming down to a coaching thing. Michigan State's burned me so many times that I'm just waiting for the
All right,
March,
other than Middle
there.
Tennessee State, when have they ever burned you in the first round?
I'm talking about this year.
Oh yeah. I was just gonna say, come on, like
Northwestern.
guys, it's Davidson.
They lost. Well, they lost to Playing.
And you don't get a nickname like the playing game was also against the Final Four team.
Yeah.
So you don't
I
get
do
a
like their
nickname.
draw though. I'm just gonna be straight up. I don't think it's that bad of a draw.
No, I don't think it is either. I think if they win,
Duke's
go
inconsistent.
ahead and beat Duke. But Duke isn't anything.
Duke's is just as inconsistent.
Duke's beat
100%.
Gonzaga by 15, and then they'll lose to Virginia Tech by 18. So
Right.
that's the big thing
And,
with this
and
tournament.
Alex Vol should have had that 2 seed if we're being honest.
Kate, that was the biggest takeaway I got out of the release of the bracket was how the hell did they get the 2 or did they get the 3 with you got Kentucky grabbing a 2? It just doesn't make sense to me. Right, you got
bias.
SEC tournament
It's just
champions.
Coach K bias.
I don't know. You have to give that championship run there
100%.
last weekend a little bit more credit, right? And Tennessee's beaten good teams like Arizona. They've
Villanova,
yeah,
too.
they've beaten really good teams, and I mean, like you said before we started, Arizona's got. I would have to assume next to Gonzaga, probably the best Vegas odds to win the whole dance, and we got Tennessee beat them handedly. I mean, they outshot them, played amazing defense on them, and it was supposed to be defense this, defense that with that game, 2 great defensive teams, and they were shooting the lights out, right? So I think that's the reason why I'm on the Vols is because I know how good they are defensively, but I also know how good they can be offensively. Now, granted, it is streaky for them, but that's the thing, Kate. I couldn't believe the draw they got. So, but to your point, if you get past Duke, I think it could be a cakewalk for you to get the Elite Eight, to the Final Four even if you get past Duke, but that's the hard part.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's a tough region. It's a tough region.
Straight up, it really is. So I mean,
Yeah, so
ahead.
I think at the top of that bracket again, we all have Gonzaga moving on to the Sweet 16. Myself, I know you said you have UConn over Gonzaga. I had them moving on as well. So we have Gonzaga, UConn, and then we would have Texas Tech, Alabama, Duke, and then you guys have MSU. I'm on Davidson. So potential Sweet 16. Do we if MSU advances, do we think they can get past Duke?
yeah, yes, I firmly believe that. And going off of what you said about both being so damn
They
inconsistent,
are. The only thing that people are going to be lured to Duke for is because of those recruits. Like they
Right.
got a lot of big name
Yeah.
guys, a lot of top. They're always going to have these NBA picks. And don't get me wrong, they do quite literally have like 4 out of 5 guys will
I
be in
just
the NBA.
want Tyson Walker to take over the game.
Yeah, he should.
If he does, Michigan State can go on a run. Like I've watched these games this past week, and he's just so timid. It's like someone's holding him back.
Yeah.
It's like, go do it.
It's
This is your
weird.
time.
It's weird. Prior to the weekend, I don't know if you guys knew this, but he was shooting at a 58% clip from behind the arc, and people are still going underneath on screens on him. Did you know that, Cade?
Yeah, I just knew that he would only take 1 3 a game and he would still shoot over 60%. So I didn't really understand where that was. But meanwhile, we got Gabe Brown shut up from half court, and we know how I feel about him. But I
guys
just
are the
like I
fucking
said, I think they
same.
can make a run.
I like just
I think they
listening
can make a run,
to just,
but they
like-
could also
sorry,
lose
go
first
ahead.
round. So who knows?
Yeah, just listening to mine and Cade's like first bracket, I'm like, we think so much alike.
Yeah,
Like,
he can't
I
stand
hate
Gabe Brown. Yeah.
just because he has so much potential and he just is an athletic freak that like I don't know.
He's got good length.
Yeah, amazing length and
He's
great.
got a good stroke. It's just
Yeah.
granted a little inconsistent, but
He'd be very good if he didn't have to dribble.
yeah.
well,
Like,
that's the problem.
If the sport didn't involve dribbling, he knows a lot of moves where you just pivot, toss the ball to the next guy.
So a consensus pick for the Elite Eight here out of the West is Gonzaga, Texas Tech.
I have that as
I
well.
also have that.
And I know that you like Texas Tech to come out of that. Cade, if it was Gonzaga, Texas Tech, who do you got coming out of that game?
Yeah, I have Texas Tech.
Okay.
Yeah, Texas Tech. I think the Big 12 was next to the SEC probably the best conference in college basketball this year with Baylor, Kansas, Texas Tech. I mean, the list goes on. I just like Texas Tech's length. Chris Beard left. They seem to have a little chip on their shoulder. And Gonzaga, I mean, they played Gonzaga earlier in the year, and Gonzaga beat them pretty handily. But I don't know. I think Texas Tech's big men can compete with Drew Timme and Chet Holmgren, and it would have to be a low scoring game, because if Texas Tech had to put up 80, 75 points, it would be tough. But yeah, I have Texas Tech moving out of that region to the Final Four.
All right, let's take it to the East. We all have Baylor beating Norfolk State handily. Let's go to the next one. We got 8 seed North Carolina versus 9 seed Marquette. For me, that's not necessarily a toss-up as people might be making it think. I like the Tar Heels in this one. Your guys' thoughts?
I think both conferences stink. I think it is a toss-up, and I'm just riding with North Carolina because they made me feel good when they beat down on Coach K. So I have no logic.
Fair enough. Fair
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah, I have UNC moving on as well. They seem to be playing better basketball, especially with that game at Cameron Indoor. I know they had a tough ACC tournament, but Brady Manick and their big men down there, they have some length that can compete. And we'll fast forward to their game with Baylor, but yeah, we'll move on. We'll get there.
All right, this next game. This next game is intriguing to me. So we have Indiana coming in. They won their play-in game. They're versing 5 seed St. Mary's. And for me, what I want to hear from you guys is we got Tracy Davis Jackson. Did I say that right? Trace Jackson Davis.
Close enough, yeah.
Somewhat, yeah. That's my guy, though. All right, they were the whole playing game. They were swarming him, 4 guys on him, daring him to kick it out, and Indiana was not hitting the shots when he would kick it out. But somehow this guy still finishes with damn near 30 points, even getting triple teamed. So it sounds like he is a problem for other teams. And I want to hear what he can do for you guys in this tournament. Does he mean anything? Does he give you an edge over a team like St. Mary's, who I know is a very good team? Tell me what you guys think about this matchup.
Yeah, I mean, St. Mary's, I'll take this one first. St. Mary's, like Ristic says, great defensive team. These teams play pretty much the same style of basketball, very slow. They kind of like make you fall asleep. Basically, I think the over-under is like 125 or something. So if you're looking forward to a game, I wouldn't, watch it for entertainment unless you have, obviously your bracket. But the thing with St. Mary's is if they fall behind late to a hot Indiana team, I think it would be tough for them to kind of come back and have to put up some points. Indiana's clicking at the right time. They're one of the worst teams in the regular season. They, again, so inconsistent in the Big Ten. But they're clicking at the right time, and I think they're just a better overall team than St. Mary's, and I think that's fun.
I would just go back and fall back to February 26th when St. Mary's beat Gonzaga 67-57. So that's why I have St. Mary's actually beating Indiana, by the way. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah, you would think a team that has the firepower to be able to beat a team like Gonzaga, you'd like to at least have them advance to the round of 32.
With that game, I think it was more of just the moment. Senior night at St. Mary's.
It was.
Goliath is coming into your home place. You get the big, rah-rah. You got the whole senior night thing, and the coaches are pumping you up. Nobody's beating us at our home place. Yeah. This is your last game ever, and it was just set up perfectly for them. But and they also played them well in the WCC championship,
yes, they did.
too. That was a good game as well. They kept it close until maybe the last 5-6 minutes, so they can compete with Gonzaga.
You run with the big dogs, you can compete with Indiana,
for sure.
Kate, I know you had some thoughts on this game as well.
Yeah, you look at St. Mary's schedule, most of their losses are out of conference. They've lost to Wisconsin, Colorado State, San Diego State. Those are good teams, solid basketball teams, but I'm just going to roll with the Big Ten team here in Indiana. I think they got some juice from the playing game. TJD, Race Thompson's a hooper. I think those two combined down low, I think they can put a little beating on them. And then, Mike Woodson's been here. He's going to coach a good team. He knows the game plan. And I think if they can, hit a couple shots from outside and not get into too much foul trouble, I think they do come out victorious.
That was the problem with me for Indiana, was they were daring them to shoot the perimeter shot, closing in on JDT, right? JTD?
NBA bound, by the way.
TJT.
TJ, yeah.
GDD.
Yeah, whatever.
It's funny. Mike Woodson told
math formulas.
He wanted to enter into the NBA. Mike Woodson said, "You're not going." He was like, "You're coming back here to play," and it's turned out pretty damn well for him. And so he's ready to go.
His stock is definitely improved.
Yeah, very high.
All right, we'll go. We'll probably skip past UCLA Akron, fellas. I don't think any of you guys got an upset there. Yeah, Correct me if I'm wrong. Please stop me if you have an upset.
Are you going to be wearing a UCLA your crew neck?
Silly question. Of course I will. I got UCLA in my Final Four.
The brown and pink one, or the
Yeah, I got the blue one.
Yeah.
I'm getting made fun of for colorblind and for my somewhat dyslexia apparently with JT. What is it? TJDD? What is it? What is it? Give me no. I need his name right now.
Trace
Jackson Davis.
JTD.
TJ.
Just call him
Jackson.
Trace. You don't even have to worry
TJD.
about
All
that.
right, cool.
right,
We're
here we
moving
go.
on. But like I said, stop me if you guys have an upset that I am assuming you do. So for me, I'm going to stop in this next one. I have Virginia Tech beating Texas.
Yeah, I'm with you. Virginia Tech, they're one of the hottest team in the country is in Texas. This is one of those scary things where, like,
Cade's shaking his head.
My bracket mind and my gambling mind, everybody's on Virginia Tech, so Texas is probably going to win. For me, it comes down to I don't have Virginia Tech, fast forward beating Purdue in the next round, so it doesn't hurt just to take an upset there. But I don't know. Texas.
Can't stand Texas.
I hate teams who can't score. They play amazing defense, but like I said, if they get down 10 points, I mean, do you trust them to make up a deficit?
That's my problem with Texas. It seems like every single time I would bet on Texas, they were losing as a favorite. They would get upset. Yeah. I feel like Texas is the most upsettable team in this tournament that is a big name. That's a power conference team, right? So, and like you said, Virginia Tech is hot. Cade, you're shaking your head, though. You like the Longhorns.
I've been on Texas all year. I know they kind of stink, but I thought Marcus Carr was going to come in and light it up. So I'm hoping for a big tournament out of him. I just don't thought Tech won a bad conference tournament. I know they looked like the 17 Warriors or whatever you want to say, but I just don't think they're a very good basketball team. I think defensively they could get punished by Texas bigs, and I'm just going to roll with Texas. I actually have rolling with Texas for a little farther than the round of 32.
So do you guys believe that momentum is a thing and stuff like this? I mean,
100%.
They just beat Duke, correct?
Yeah.
So I mean, it's like, all right, now you're going to play Texas, who's been I would say has been inconsistent, and they have lost me a lot of money this year, a lot. Even in football, going back to football, they've lost me a lot of money.
Ditto.
But I believe in momentum. That's why I got Virginia Tech.
You're a golfer, dude. Think about this. You're playing in a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday tournament, right? You shoot damn well on Thursday, you're feeling good on Friday.
Oh, yeah.
You shoot well on Friday, you're going on Saturday.
You're ready.
I got this thing figured out.
Yes.
You go into Sunday, you're like, I can't be fucking stopped.
I can't lose.
I can't lose. And that, for me, I think that translates to every sport.
Yeah, well, Cade's got his finger up.
But if you're a golfer and you go to the next tournament and you missed a cut on Thursday, Friday, and I think that's what's going to happen here. I think that they're going to lose their momentum, and Virginia Tech's going to not. I just don't think they'll show up to play, but I just don't think they'll be hitting the shots they were hitting in the ACC tournament.
As long as that's
fair enough. And I can see, and you know what? I can see this being a problem that a lot of people are on Virginia Tech, and Cade is right, and that Texas is simply the better team. And they do get past even a Purdue, and I can see where that becomes a problem for us in our brackets, where I'm assuming most of us have Purdue in at least the Sweet 16. And that's where you can separate yourself from the pack. See, Cade, I know Cade doesn't, and that's the thing. So
I had to take some chances.
Yeah, well, then
it's one of those things. A lot of these games in the tournament is you could tell me Team A wins by 20, and I'd be like, yeah, I could see that. And then, Team A also loses by, 10 to a 12 or 13 seed, and be like, yeah, I could totally.
That's why this is going to be a good tournament. Now, Cade, I know you have Yale upsetting Purdue.
Whoa!
I'm not gonna,
whoa!
I'm not gonna.
No. Easy now. Easy.
Stop it.
I don't think this is a very good Yale team, or else I would have considered it.
It's not. They've been in the tournament a few times these last few years, and this is probably the worst team that they've had representing.
But we know Purdue does not fare well in the tournament. They haven't reached the Final Four. They seem to get upset very quickly to start the tournament. I just don't think it's going to happen in this early game.
Fair enough. Yeah. Let's move on to Murray State, San Francisco. I think this is going to be a really good game. Eric, take it away for us.
Yeah, so I know listening to part of my take this past week, Big Cat kind of brought it up as well. It's not fun when, two non-Power 5 teams have to match up against each other, because in the tournament you kind of like to see these smaller schools play these big-time schools and how they kind of match up. So it was unfortunate that these two teams had to play in the first round. Murray State, great offensive team. I mean, they've won like so many games in a row. They're 30-2 or whatever. They've got two great guards. They average about 35 a game. Elite offensively. When you come to San Francisco, they've got a big lineup. I think they can cause some problems, especially, for the three-point line for Murray State. They're a great defensive three-point team, and Murray State, excels from the three-point line. So I am going to take San Francisco on this one. I think the popular pick is Murray State, definitely. but I like the Dons to get it done in the first round.
I took Murray State, so I took the popular pick.
These 7, 10, 8, and 9 ones, I mean, I don't blame you for they're
I hate it. Let me tell you guys. From a guy who doesn't follow college basketball all year, right? I follow our teams, Michigan State, Michigan. When it gets to bracket time and I see like the 8, 9, 7, 10, I say, screw it. I'm going to go with 7.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with 8 because they're the lower seed.
Yeah, why not? Get yourself, you just go a little chalky. They got to be better for some reason. And then, of course, that's just never the case.
Nope.
But I think this game's a little bit more of a toss-up than it seems. To somebody looking at like, the 7 seed versus 10 seed. I think San Francisco is actually the better team. So I also like San Francisco. We can get past Kentucky there, and we can move on to the round of 32. I think we all got Baylor getting past North Carolina handedly.
I'm going to pass on
He
that
said,
one.
not so fast, my friend.
Baylor, I mean, I picked them last year to win it all. They were great defensively. They've had some injuries this past year. I don't know if I can pronounce his name right. Jonathan Chamachacho, I think that's how you pronounce it.
Good job. You went right through it if you did.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce it. He's their big guy. He's their he's been coming off the bench, but he's been hurt. He's out for the season. I think Baylor might have some trouble with UNC's big men, and Baylor's been kind of, they started off hot, but they've been kind of, on the downslope here. And I think this is where UNC, or I could even see Marquette beating them. I'm not too high on Baylor this year, and I like the 8 to beat the 1 seed.
Okay, I think you're a solo dolo on that one, brother. Moving on from that, I think UCLA handles Indiana pretty. I think experience has a lot to do with these brackets, and how can you not take UCLA to go far with Jaquez coming back, with Juzang coming back, with Bob Marley Jr. coming back, and Tiger Campbell. With they got a good team still. They all came back.
I hate that hair. It's got to go.
Okay.
It just looks like it stinks.
It's a hooper.
It does. It does look like it stinks.
How do you possibly watch that?
You tell me.
And
It's
it looks
a cultural
exactly
thing.
the same.
You're gonna have to explain
I don't
that to
have
me.
that hair.
No, but yeah, you
I'm
probably
not a
know
Bob
somebody.
Marley.
You probably know somebody with
I
that hair.
have nobody with that type of hair. It looks like a beehive.
So what do you like? What does Derrick Henry do with his hair? With his tycoon?
I've always wondered that. I mean, you got to somehow get the sheen in there.
Do you put like a cap on it? In the shower, do you not
I
wash
don't know.
it?
It looks like it stinks. That's all I got to say.
Yeah,
I hate his hair.
Fair enough.
But anyway, continue.
Bob Marley probably didn't smell the best either. So for being completely honest about it,
transparency.
But I know now we have a little discrepancy with Texas Purdue or Virginia Tech Purdue. So with that discrepancy, we'll just leave it up in the air for the folks. Either you got Purdue or you got Texas or you got Virginia Tech.
I want to hear, Cade, do you have Texas moving on past Purdue?
Yeah, I just don't trust Purdue. I don't trust them defensively, and that's where I see the defensive mind of Texas versus the offensive mind of Purdue. I know Jaden Ivey's a stud. I love him. I think he should be top 3 in the draft. I just, I'm going to roll with the defense in this tournament, and I don't really like the north part of this region. I think it's a toss-up between Baylor and UCLA. I don't think either of them are very that good. Yeah, I'd like Kentucky all the way. So that's why I said, you know what, I'll have them pair up with Texas. That's aesthetically pleasing too, just watching those teams go at it on CBS with Iron Eagle on the call.
Oh, love Iron Eagle.
A good game to watch. And so that's why I don't really have much to it. Zach Edey. I don't think he's that good either. He's just 7'4", so
I agree.
He's tired by the 1 minute.
Yeah,
I mean, it's incredible.
You try
pumping
that heart 7 feet tall. That's a lot of that bloodline is going top to bottom. That's a long distance.
I like their other guy though. Their other big man. What's his name? Williams.
Trayvon Williams.
He is a dog.
Yeah,
he's a dog. You know what kind of other dog he was supposed to be.
Oh,
supposed to be a Spartan dog.
That's right.
But instead, we got our boy Rise Network. We got Thomas Kithier instead. And there's no problem with me. But he's no longer with the MSU Spartans.
I hate Ristic so much.
What? He's part of Rise Network. That's our guy.
No,
moving on. Anybody not have Kentucky winning this region?
I have Kentucky losing to UCLA in the Elite Eight.
I've got Kentucky
Crazy.
over UCLA in this one. Oscar Tshiebwe and Ty Washington. I think they'll just be too much for this region, especially if they have to play Texas. in the Sweet 16, like Cade's predicting. I just think they're the most well-rounded team in this region, defensively, offensively. They've got guys. They've got a deep bench. So yeah, I see Kentucky moving on from this region.
Fair enough, fellas. I got UCLA in the experience. Don't let Juzang get hot. Moving down to the South, which is weird because
it's not down. It's
not down.
Yeah, are they playing Indy?
No, I think they're playing in the South. Which
are they?
Yeah, I would hope so.
In the bracket,
it's on the top right of the bracket.
Yeah. Oh, I see what you mean.
It
Okay,
just bothers me a lot.
Arizona, Wright State. We all got Arizona. Seton Hall, TCU. Now, this is, again, one of those games that I think the entire world has an upset on, which bothers the shit out of me. I think a lot of people are going with TCU, especially because TCU has been the upset king all year long, especially as of late. They've been upsetting a lot of big teams, and Vegas was daring you to take the other teams, such as Kansas, -12. I thought that was a lock because they were like, please take TCU +12.
Yeah.
They fucking went outright.
Yeah,
right?
I
So
think,
I don't even think Vegas has a grip on TCU and their upset ability.
I think me and Kate are probably on similar stances here, where the Big 12 is just better than the Big East, and I think it's a coin flip, but I think TCU moves on. That's all I can really give about this game because Seton Hall's had some good wins. I wouldn't say, at Michigan's a good win, but Michigan's something else. But yeah, TCU's just, I think they're more experienced. They've been battle tested, and I see them beating Seton Hall.
Yeah, I think TCU rolls them, to be honest. I don't see much with Seton Hall. TCU's won big games, obviously in the Big 12, but they've also won them on the road. I think they beat Texas on the road. There's many other teams they probably beat too. I can't come up with all of them, but I don't really think TCU is a very good 9 seed that could give Arizona a test in the second round.
I don't want to spend too much time on it, but I just want to ask you guys this. Do you guys think if the season started just a few weeks ago and we had a whole season left to play, and if TCU was in their current form, that they would be one of the better teams in the nation? Do you think they just caught heat at the right time and they were just struggling in the beginning of the year and now they figured it out? Is that a possibility?
Honestly, I haven't watched much TCU basketball, so I can't give you a great answer on that.
Yeah, I don't really know. I think maybe like a 6 seed at best, but I don't think they're that good. I just think they're good enough in the Big 12 where they competed, but I still don't think they would have been like a top of any other Power 6 conference.
Fair enough. Houston, UAB, 5-12 seed. We all know that the 12s are more likely to upset than any other seed in the tournament in the round of 64. And we have a guy that goes by the name of Jelly Walker on UAB. Absolute stud. Small guy, but electric. Straight electricity. But a lot of people have Houston getting bounced in the first round, where I think Houston has an opportunity to go very, very far in the tournament. Yeah. So where are we at on that, boys?
Cade, go ahead with this one.
I think Houston's going to put him in the torture chamber, chew him up and spit him out.
I fucking love that, dude. That is electric. I'm hammering Houston because of a torture chamber.
that sounds awesome. Brutal.
That sounded horrible. Horrible for UAB fans. torture chamber. Fuck yeah.
I know UAB has a lot of transfers from like Ole Miss, Power 6 schools, whatever you want to call it. I just think Houston's been there, done that. They don't get scared from a 12 seed. I think, the 8.5 is a lot of points, but I think they do, come out with a double-digit win, and whether they want to press them, play the great help defense they play, I just don't see them. I don't see UAB having very much success, even with Jelly Walker.
Yeah, UAB seems like a one-man show, and Houston's got the size, the experience. I see him giving some trouble offensively.
Torture chamber.
Yeah.
All right, Illinois, Chattanooga. I am a Tennessee Volunteer fan. I don't associate myself with the Chattanoogans, the Moccasins. So I am gonna ride with the Big Ten here. I think Coffee Cockburn is. I did that on purpose, Kate. I know you like that. Coffee Cockburn is the man. Kofi Cockburn, absolute big man, stud. Reminds me a little bit of Azubuike. Remember that man?
Mm-hmm. Azubuike.
What was my first name on Azubuike?
I don't know.
Udoka Azubuike. That's my guy. Frazier, absolute stud, electric factory. When he gets hot, boy, is he hot. So I like Illinois. The problem is somewhat of what Cade said. Illinois doesn't always fare well going deep in these tournaments, and that's a problem, right? A lot of people had them last year winning it all. A lot of people had them in the Final Four, and they came up short. So with that being said, do you guys like Illinois getting past Houston?
I think that game, it's very interesting. Illinois, another inconsistent team. They'll, one day they'll beat Iowa at home. They'll look amazing, and then they lose to Indiana in the Big Ten tournament. I would go with Houston on this one. I think, obviously Illinois has the better big name guys with Plummer and Coburn and Frazier. I just can't trust Illinois to play consistent basketball. If they're on all cylinders, they'll probably beat Arizona and, be in the Elite Eight, but I just can't trust them.
Fair enough. Cade, Michigan, Colorado State.
I just have to. I mean, I think Michigan is a good team, obviously very consistent, but there's too much stuff on Twitter and everything with people saying Michigan's going to roll them. Colorado State is a very good basketball team. Roddy is Mountain West Player of the Year. I'm just going to roll with the team that's been more consistent all year and roll with Colorado State. But I wouldn't hate to see Michigan, get a win in the tournament, show out for the Big Ten so we don't get that, Big Ten can't compete in the tournament all the time. I just like them better. I think it's going to be a hard-nosed game. I think it's going to be a very low-scoring game. First day of games in terms of the whole bracket. First half under. I mean, I'm rolling with every first half under, but this one's the one I like a lot. Let's get it going. Good defense, missing a lot of threes, but Colorado State comes out successful.
I can't believe they gave these guys the tip off of the tournament. The tip off of the tournament's never a good game.
Yeah, it's just big brand name. They're just trying to draw people. I think Michigan's as inconsistent as it gets. I think Colorado State will have a lot of trouble with Hunter Dickinson. They don't really have a big man who can compete with them, and especially since Dickinson's been good from three as well, it kind of spreads out the floor more. Obviously, losing Devontae Jones is tough too. He's been playing great, but I think Vegas knows something because even with Jones out, who's been averaging lately 10 a game and is a key offensive piece, that line didn't move. So
What's it at?
It's minus
it's
1.5,
pick 'em.
basically a pick 'em.
But you know what that tells me is that they know that they're going to rely on Hunter Dickinson all the way.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Which has been it's been their game plan for 2 years now, right? It's been feed the ball in the post, let him hit it with his little left hand miniature hook.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about Hunter Dickinson that pisses me off is like he refuses to use his right hand. Bothers me.
Yeah.
If you're going to be a dominant big man, you got to be able to be fluid with both hands. So
He's been much better offensively, but I see him winning one game in the tournament. I want to hear Cade's next pick with the Longwood over Tennessee here. Let's hear this one.
Longwood.
You mean you want me to give logic? Because that's not going to happen.
Okay,
I'm just
fair
riding
enough.
I'm riding with the Tennessee sleeping a little bit. They won their conference tournament. I don't know. I don't watch much Tennessee basketball. I know they're good. I don't think they're great. So I wanted one big upset. So, I was looking around. I think Nova rolls in the bottom half. So I was like, let's just toss Longwood in there.
Cade, fair enough. I'll give you some logic. Coach Barnes has been in 22 tournaments, and I am pretty sure I saw a stat that he's gotten bounced 18 out of 22 times in the round of 64. So there's the logic for you.
Yeah, Tennessee is come March, they're really not a great team. A couple of years ago with Grant Williams and
Admiral Schofield.
So I shouldn't have them in my Final Four.
Yeah, that was a fun ball.
It was a great team.
I do have them moving on. I think they beat Michigan, and then I actually have them over Villanova as well. I think they're good enough to beat a Villanova team. Both teams play similar styles of offense and defense. I don't know. Tennessee's hot. I think they can get into the Elite Eight.
All right, there's one game here that we skipped over, which I think is very important for the listeners. It's Ohio State, Loyola, Chicago. Now, we all know Loyola Chicago loves March. They love March. Sister Jean has put a hex on whoever the hell they've played in the last couple of years. And I think Loyola Chicago might be too much of actually that might be the chalk, fellas. I think the chalk might be the upset. Correct me if you think I'm wrong. So for that reason and that reason in itself, I got Ohio State moving on at least one game.
Yeah,
my best tournament's Ohio State. I think they roll them. I don't really love Loyola Chicago, first-year head coach. Can't really score. I know they're going to try to not so much torture chamber
them.
Ohio State. No, I'm not going for that. I think EJ Liddell puts on a clinic, and I don't really see why this is pick 'em. I think Ohio State should at least be a 3 or 4 point favorite. I think everyone's on Loyola Chicago, like you said, for the storyline, everything like that. Ohio State's a good basketball team. Don't be shocked you see them in the Sweet 16, Elite 8. They could go run. They haven't been healthy all year, really. Kyle Young comes back. Who knows what they can do? But Ohio State, play of the first round for me.
I love that, and I think E.J. Liddell is an absolute baller.
For me, it just comes down to I don't think the Big Ten's that good. I think Loyola is an experienced team. Shout out Drew Valentine, Denzel's brother, head coach of Loyola Chicago.
Doing well this year.
Yeah, they put it together a good team. Not as great as the past Loyola Chicago teams. I think they beat Ohio State here. I wouldn't be shocked if they could get past Villanova too. I think they're going to be a popular upset pick. But I feel like we've been pretty chalky, so I'm fine with them moving on. Overall, I have Arizona moving on in this region. So I don't know if anyone else has that.
I got Arizona moving on into the Final Four for these guys, and I like them going against Villanova in the Elite Eight, and that's what I want to ask you guys about. If it was Arizona, Villanova, what do you guys like? I think we have to talk about Colin Gillespie and him having that experience. What has he played for, 9-10 years now?
Seems like it.
Yeah, right? And he's an absolute baller, dude. He's the kid that you would want if you're starting your own team. That's my point guard I'm picking. He has the experience. He's calm. He could shoot. Doesn't miss free throws. Coming off injuries, though, so he's been screwed out in the past. And I feel like this is his final. Obviously, it's his final year to get one going here. I like Colin Gillespie to take them, and I actually like them beating Arizona. I like Villanova in the Final Four.
Yeah.
Also, Coach Jay Wright, you can't just throw that out the window. He has experience.
No, definitely. They have the better coaching team. Arizona has the better players, I think. Colin Gillespie is, he's a great leader, and him and Justin Moore, they're great from three. Arizona is just too big for me and too lengthy. They're a great three-point shooting team. That's the thing in this tournament. I think if Arizona is clicking, I don't see a team that can beat them. Villanova, another streaky team. That Big East is just a bunch of guys beating up on each other. They're all close games. So I guess it'll be interesting to see how the Big East plays.
I have not watched a lot of Arizona basketball, but they are saying that they're like Gonzaga 2.0.
Yeah,
which is
compared
scary.
to last year. I mean, Gonzaga with Jalen Suggs, obviously in the NBA, and Corey Kispert, they were a great team last year, and they have a couple of returners. But Arizona is similarly, built to how they were last year, and they do good things offensively and defensively, which can pose a problem if they're hot.
All right, so I think that wraps up that region. So we got the Midwest now, correct?
Correct.
That's our last one.
The region of chaos.
This really is a region of chaos. First one.
That's funny you guys are saying that, man. I got chalk all in the Midwest.
Yeah, that's where you
So
go.
Kansas, we got Texas Southern getting cleaned out. Torture chamber, right, Cade? Then we got San Diego State, Creighton, and I think that could be a good game. I think San Diego State is the better team.
Yeah.
But we all know Coach McDermott's been doing it for a while there at Creighton, and it's March. There's obviously a good chance that Creighton can get hot. They're a streaky team, and they didn't perform that well in the tournament, but they got a good win. Creighton's not a bad choice.
They made it to the finals.
Yeah, they didn't do that bad in the tournament.
Oh, I thought you said they did do that well.
Oh, my bad. I meant they didn't do that bad in the tournament. They got a big win. But
they beat Providence by 30, so
right.
That's enough to talk about.
Go ahead.
I took Creighton. I don't have much about it. I mean, San Diego State's a good team. They always play hard defensively. I just think Creighton has more offense. I think McDermott will have the guys ready, but I don't think either team stands a chance against Kansas.
Fair enough.
I'm on Creighton as well. I don't have them moving on past Kansas. San Diego State's got a great player, Matt Bradley. He's kind of the one-man show for them. Not a great offensive team. Both teams are similar defensively. They play both great defense. I think it'll be a low-scoring game, but yeah, I think Creighton has enough pieces to get it done.
Fair enough. I think we all got Iowa moving on at least against Richmond.
But don't sleep on Richmond. I'm going to say that right now. I'm going to say that now. This might be one of those ones. I like Iowa a lot. They look great, but I think Richmond can put up a fight. That's all I'm going to say.
Richmond's a good covering basketball team. So if you're a gambling man,
that's the word. That's the word.
They cover. They cover.
Iowa will not lose this game, but I think Richmond can cover.
Richmond covers.
Yeah.
That's all we need.
Yes.
Rod's our Lee Corso. He's like, Iowa with the win, but Richmond covers.
But Richmond covers.
And I respect that. A big game that I think a lot of people are anticipating, Providence, South Dakota State. Eric, I know you got some stupid ass stats to back this up on why South Dakota State is going to be the play and why they can probably advance past Iowa. Let's hear it.
Statistically, well, I have Iowa moving on. Statistically, It's kind of interesting with South Dakota State and Providence. South Dakota State is statistically the best offensive team in the country. They average 86 a game.
Wow.
They have shooters galore. Yeah. Everybody can shoot.
That's what I heard.
That's what I love about
You guys remember Wofford from a couple years back? That's what they're saying, that this is that Wofford team. And if you remember, that Wofford team made it to the Elite Eight.
They lost to Kentucky. I want to say Sweet 16.
It was just second round.
No.
Second round.
It was not. It was for sure past the second round.
Yeah, because they were a 7.
I think they were a 7 playing
Kentucky was
into
a 2.
Kentucky, but they were a hot pick anyways. But yeah, San Diego State.
Good.
I think they have enough to get past Providence. A lot of people have been talking about Providence being a lucky team. Just winning close games. I think that can also be a good thing because it can't be a bad thing. Lucky is always good, but when you have those close games and you have experience, March is definitely that's a good trait to have. I just don't think Providence is as good, and I think the committee showed that by the regular season outright Big East champs, and they ended up getting a 4 seed, and Villanova ended up with a 2 seed. I have South Dakota State moving on, eventually losing to Iowa, but I'm not sure if anyone has any differences.
I have South Dakota State moving on. I have them losing to Iowa as well. But if they do get hot, it might be a scenario in which we see. Well, then again, Iowa's a great 3-point shooting team too. So I like the over in that game. That's all I got to say.
It's going to be fireworks, baby.
That's all I got to say. I like the over. We'll move on to LSU, Iowa State. I think this is a popular upset pick as well. I think a lot of people might have Iowa State. I actually personally think that Iowa State might be the better team outright. So, Cade, you want to circle on that one for us?
I think this might be the worst game of the tournament.
I agree.
These teams stink. I don't think LSU is very good. Iowa State was like 9-0 to start the year. They barely made it in this tournament. Whatever you do, you should bet every first half under. Take this first half under. These teams are going to be throwing up bricks. I'm just going to take the underdog. I think Iowa State is in the tougher conference, in my opinion. So I think they'll come out victorious. But wouldn't be shocked. None of these teams are beating Wisconsin or Colgate.
Fair enough. I like the or Colgate because I am a Colgate guy. So, yeah, can we get to that Colgate-Wisconsin game?
Yeah, let's go.
Colgate, I don't know. I know Ritzik remembers this. We were watching
I'll never forget
the NCAA championship. This is when I convinced him I was this sharp. But we were watching the Bama Georgia game, and on the big TV and on the little TV next to it is Colgate versus Navy. So Nelly Cummings, all right, you might hear of him coming up in this tournament. It's going to be a Friday night game. I think it's going to be, I'm picking Colgate.
Oh man,
they have a bunch of seniors. They play great defense, great offense. They started out 4-10 this year. Nelly Cummings comes back. They roll and they go 19-1. Wisconsin kind of limping into the tournament. Bad loss at Nebraska at home. Bad loss against MSU in the tournament. Johnny Davis got hurt against that Nebraska game. He may not be 100%. He definitely didn't play like it against MSU in the Big Ten tournament. So I have Colgate with the 14-3 upset.
I like Colgate in the second round too.
I like Colgate in the second round.
If they get past Wisconsin, I like them sweeping through Iowa State.
This is one of those gambling biases where I bet on them a lot and they made me some money, so I love them.
You guys,
you know what,
have
though?
my head going like this.
I got you. But you know what, though, Eric? I feel like once a year, at least, there's one team. There's one team where everyone goes, "How the fuck did you get that?"
Yep.
Yeah.
And you're like, "Because I'm a sick degenerate."
They're
That's
getting
why.
made fun of because they're named after toothpaste.
Right. Yeah. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I can't pick a team named up for toothpaste.
That's fair.
Colgate.
That's a fair logic.
I feel like there's always a 14-3 upset, and I think Wisconsin is the most vulnerable.
Dude, you got to think like somebody who took Mercer against Duke, right? You're like, "Oh, how'd you get that right?" You're like, "Dude, the matchup
It'll happen.
made sense."
I'm sure a 2 seed will lose this week. Or
don't say that. I
tomorrow
parlayed
or
all
Friday.
ones
It'll
and
probably
twos.
be
I
Kentucky.
parlayed all ones and twos.
Oh, he did the percentages.
I did the. You gotta pay $1,000 to get the seat. You gotta risk $1,000 to get the seat at Greektown. So I figured I'd parlay all ones and twos, put $1,000
this
on
is
it.
ending. It's gonna end bad.
No, it's not. There's no way it loses.
That's what they all say.
Damn right.
Cade, how do you feel about this USC Miami game?
So I've actually been riding Miami for a good portion of the year. I just think USC is the better team. I think they had experience last year with beating Kansas in the second round. I like Mobley's brother, Isaiah Mobley. I think they're well coached. So I just don't I keep saying it. ACC is not very good. Don't think the Pac-12 is great, but I just think that they're the better team. And I know we're not going to touch on Auburn, so I actually have USC upsetting Auburn.
So do I.
Wisconsin. I think they make a little run here.
I got them too, and they're a streaky offensive team. If they get hot, there's a chance that nobody can slow them down. But that's the thing. If they don't get hot, if the shots don't start falling, they struggle to come back in games. So we'll see how that goes. But if they get hot early, I like them, and I am riding them through to the Sweet 16. Actually, I am riding them through to
USC. We're talking about.
Yeah, I actually am riding them through. To the Sweet 16. I got them losing to Iowa in the Elite Eight.
Yeah, wow. I have USC in the Elite Eight as well.
Wow.
Mostly because just the way my bracket plays out. If USC beats Auburn, then
I just don't trust Auburn.
I have USC against Colgate, so obviously I'm going to take USC there.
Wait, why do we all have USC?
I also have USC in my league. I just checked now too.
I thought I'd be like the only one.
Yeah.
Like Auburn would roll.
No,
I don't trust Auburn, dude. Without Jabari Smith, if they lock him down, the double and whatever, box and one, whatever you want to call it, I don't see a scenario in which their backcourt's horrible.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Kessler's a hooper, but they're vulnerable. They're vulnerable.
Exactly, and I don't know. They got two good big men in Kessler and Smith, but I just don't trust their backcourt, and they're inconsistent. They can't hit the shots that they need to hit, and there's a good opportunity for them to get upset here. But also, Jamari Smith is that dude, and if he gets his shit going, there's a good chance that they roll all the way to the Final Four. So who knows? That's why March is March, right?
March. Yeah. Do we give our championship picks?
Let's go. Let's go right now. I want everyone to give
we all have Kansas, right?
Yes. I was on Iowa.
Yeah.
We were talking about this pre-show. Everybody in the country seems to be on Iowa.
Yeah.
They're hot offensively. They don't travel defensively. They've been playing better defensively as of late, but I think Kansas will kind of shut them down a little bit, and I like Kansas moving there.
All right, so last little hoorah here, okay? Rod, give me your bracket and your final, your champion.
My main one.
Yeah, your main one, Final Four and champion. Go.
Okay, so my main one, my champion's going to be Arizona, but I guess I got to backtrack and go to my Final Four. Gonzaga, Kentucky, and I got Arizona versus Auburn in the Final Four, then Arizona versus Kentucky.
All right, mine's probably the greasiest Final Four of all time in my main one. I have Texas Tech, a 3 seed. I have UCLA, a 4 seed. I have Tennessee, a 3 seed, and Auburn, a 2 seed. And prior to that, I had Iowa in there. So it was a 3, a 4, a 3, and a 5.
I wouldn't be shocked.
If a year it was going to happen, it would be this year. Right? So, and then I have UCLA and Tennessee in the championship game, and I got the Vols coming out on top.
If there's a year, it's this year.
If there's a year that's going to happen, it's this year. It's a greasy tournament.
There is no, last year it was Gonzaga and it was Baylor. This year I wouldn't be shocked if
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I also have Texas Tech.
Sorry.
I've got Kentucky. I've got Arizona, and I've got Kansas. Kind of chalky with the ones. But
are you fucking serious?
No, I don't know why Keith's doing that. Sorry, I'm just I'm shaking it for March Madness right now. I don't know what's going on.
I've got Arizona over Kentucky in the finals. One bracket has that. My other bracket has Kentucky over Arizona. So I did it last year with Baylor and Gonzaga. But
dude, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
How much have you looked at this bracket? Because you haven't pulled up a bracket once during this entire conversation.
Yeah.
I've looked at it so much that I
know you memorized the bracket. I know you do.
I can tell you every single thing about this bracket, every single matchup.
That's
I just
incredible.
love college basketball. It's just one
You
of those
disgust
things.
me. All right, Cade, you disgust me.
I got pretty much the same thing as easy. Texas Tech, Kentucky, Kansas, and then I actually have Nova. I just ride Jay Wright in the tournament, and then I got Kentucky over Kansas in my championship. I hate Kentucky, so I kind of just rode with the team that I despise, and hopefully they can make me some money. But I do think it's wide open, and I hope every 1 seed goes down first weekend. I hope it's just chaos.
I love chaos, torture chambers, and all.
I was
Chaos
just thinking
is a
torture
ladder.
chambers, right? Like I'm gonna go through a torture chamber.
Cade, I'm gonna need you to send me all your plays for the weekend. All right, let's start with today. We'll take it one day at a time.
All unders.
Well, let's just do this right now. What's
lock of the days?
Favorite bet of the day and favorite upset for the tournament, even though you guys pretty much said Colgate.
Yeah, Colgate favorite upset of the tournament. Lock of the day. I
like South Dakota State +3.
See when I put the tournament, the bracket separate, I love South Dakota State. When I look at the line, I'm like, everybody's probably taking South Dakota State, and that scares me. But
I feel like not a lot of people are taking South Dakota State.
You think so?
I think you're sick in the head.
Squares are taking.
No, that's what I'm saying. Squares are taking Providence.
Oh, Lord.
Because they see a 4 seed. They know that they're really hot. They know that they're 20-5.
Big East champs.
Right. Yeah. There's no way.
I do like Longwood plus 18. That would be my lock of the day.
I tell you what I like a lot.
Dude, there's no shot.
I like Richmond plus 10.
I love it.
Richmond plus 10.
Exactly. Thank you.
Richmond plus 10. You guys are
I
welcome.
like that
Richmond plus 10 today?
Thank me later. Richmond plus 10 and Michigan money line.
To be quite honest with you guys, I don't see a scenario in which San Francisco doesn't win this outright, so I like their plus money line.
Really?
I like
Yeah,
that.
that was gonna be my play of the day. I took San Diego or South Dakota State like right when the bracket released, and I was like, I love this play so much. Grab the +2 or whatever. But I think now that I look at it, San Francisco is probably my play. I just think everyone's on Murray State, and I think San Francisco's played Gonzaga 3 times, kept it within 15 each time. I think they play them tough, and I think coming down the stretch, they'll make more free throws. They'll be smarter on defense, and they'll win.
Let me ask you guys one last thing before we sign off. So with these tournament games, obviously anybody can win anything. So we know that a lot of these games are going to be close. Now that doesn't mean there's no such thing as blowouts in March Madness. But with spreads like 21.5, spreads like 18, you got to take the plus points, right? In all these games. I feel like you would come out profitable of every single March Madness game you took the plus points.
Mm-hmm. I don't know so much about the 1 seeds, but especially those. It's not fun watching a 1 seed game where you take the. Never mind. I don't know what I was saying.
Minus 21.5.
Yeah. But anyways, when the 2 seeds, I feel like the 2 and the 3 seeds this year, everyone is so high on them. Like Tennessee's 18-point favorites as a 3 seed. They could be a 2 seed, but I feel like usually those numbers are kind of lower, 13, 14.5. And I just think they're favoring the power teams way too much.
Let me ask you something. If this is November 27th and you see Tennessee's playing an out-of-conference game and they're scheduled to play Longwood, if you saw minus 18 against Longwood, you would hammer Tennessee.
Exactly. But now I know more about
But it's
Longwood,
March, baby. There's some
March.
magic in the air.
Magic.
Fair enough. So are we doing the whole plus points all day, or am I just picking and choosing?
We'll test it today.
Can I get a prop play from Cade? I know you probably haven't looked.
I just think like in terms of someone to score points. Sorry, I haven't really looked.
I kind of put you on the spot there.
I like Roddy. I think Roddy has a big game against Michigan, but I'd say if you guys like don't love a game, just bet first team to 15 points. It's exhilarating.
It really is.
Yes, I did.
It really
is. That's like probably my favorite bet. Just to like I don't love Chattanooga, Illinois. Let's see if Chattanooga can be the first to 15. Let's go.
No, I love that. We were doing that all last year when we were living together at State. We no matter what game it was, we would always take the team that was plus money to get the first to 15 because it's March. You never know who's going to get the 15 first. They can start off hot. And it was awesome when it would be 12-12 and Colgate's pulling up from 3. Like, let's go.
Colgate first to 15 tomorrow. 100%.
Yeah, 100%.
We're running that again.
All right.
Well, fellas.
I might come to Chicago to watch these with you, brother.
I was thinking that same thing. Sweet 16. I'll be there. Sweet 16.
We're going to be in Chirac for the Sweet 16 if you don't mind.
Yeah,
make some room.
We can watch USC make the Elite Eight.
Yeah, away.
Well, Eric, you are the man. You had the notes. If people listen to this, they are so taking Colgate today. They are so tailing you. Cade is great with the throwback Detroit hat on. He's a man, always per usual. If we had more time, we would get all this stuff clipped up and put on. But, hey, we got like 15, 20 minutes to the first game. So we're crunch time. Then, also us two here, these two guys here just sitting here chilling.
Best time of the year. I'll probably burn my bracket after tomorrow or tonight. But, hey, it's always fun talking with you guys.
Yeah. I love it, boys. All right.
Well, until fantasy football
great
season.
time.
Of course.
All right. See you later.
I don't know.
Let's go.
Dude.